medallion that we have through the Tejano Passport program. So we'll be giving you a code in the chat box later so that you'll be able to learn more about this program. So please get comfortable and mute your mics and get ready to learn some more about our student clubs here at EPCC. And we are recording this session just to let you know. So Ms. Escobedo, whenever you're ready, we are ready for you.
Thank you. I'm trying to get my camera working, so just a moment. Okay. So thank you everybody for coming, and thank you for inviting us, Kristen. I'm the club advisor for the Eureka Club. This is a club that we have at Northwest. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the club and what it is that we do. But before I do that, I want to highlight some of the important aspects of joining a club that I consider when structuring the club activities. So joining a club is good because it allows you to make connections. Not only are you going to be working with other students, you're going to be working with faculty. You're also going to, depending on the club activities, right, connect to members of the community, connect to other fields. There's so much that can be done in terms of connections with clubs. Another important aspect of a club is building the leadership skills. So as a club, I know different clubs run different ways, but as a club, one of the things that as a faculty advisor, I encourage my students to do is to create activities and to take control of the type of not just learning activities that we do when we have club meetings, but also the type of events that we want to open up to other people who are not part of the club. It is also an opportunity to learn new things. So one of the focuses of Eureka, and you'll see in just a little bit, is to be able to connect the things that maybe you're learning in the classroom, but because we have such a limited amount of time and because there's certain things we absolutely need to cover as part of the course objectives, right? There's so many more things that we could explore, and you know, joining a club and making those connections and learning about new subjects is a great way to enhance the type of learning that you're receiving in the classroom. Also, there are some benefits. So it opens up scholarship opportunities, academic opportunities, just because grades aren't everything. Grades are important, right? But there's a lot of people who have good grades. And what will make your applications to scholarships and to programs, to universities stand out is the type of involvement that you have. And a club, or joining a club and being an active member in a club, is a great way to do that, to show that you're involved, and that you can go beyond what's expected. And also data shows that it enhances students' success. Part of it has to do with the fact that you're making connections, that you're finding people you can relate to, that can help you out. But people who take advantage of not extra credit, but extracurricular activities have a higher percentage of graduating. So again, many clubs are out there. There's a lot of clubs that we have that are just sponsored by EPCC alone. Eureka is just one of them. So now I'm going to focus on what we do. We are a student club, and depending on the semester, we're part of the EPCC approved clubs. There's a minimum requirement of students. And being at Northwest, that's something that we sometimes struggle with. But it is also an academic society. So the members are not just composed of student members, there's also faculty members who join in and give their expertise on different subjects. Our motto is learning about the world through a philosophical lens. So that kind of gives you a sense of what we do. I teach philosophy, so the club is centered on philosophy. but I also recognize that there's a lot of value to other disciplines. So as a club, I look for activities that can, of course, tie to philosophy, but also include other areas of study like biology, psychology, physics, and uh, literature, art, so many more. So our mission, and this is going to highlight our purpose as well. So our purpose is to promote the importance of philosophy in connection with other disciplines in order to learn and enrich our personal lives. So I already talked about philosophy and the connection to other disciplines, but another thing that I like to do with what we do as a club is bring all of the knowledge that you're learning from different disciplines and kind of go through how we can apply it so that our lives improve. So it isn't just something that you learn about so that you just say, oh, that's interesting for me to think about, but it's something that can help you in the way that you carry out through your everyday. So now, as a club, we do meet regularly, and every time we meet, we have a learning activity. But on top of that, we sponsor events that we open up to everybody who wants to come. So we do film viewings and discussions, we do literary symposiums, we also do interdisciplinary symposiums, and we do community volunteer events as well. We are a small club, but we do a lot. So usually club meetings and how often we meet are decided by student members, so it varies from semester to semester. In the spring semester, we've decided that we are going, well, that what works for the club members is meeting on Fridays at 12 p.m. And we are meeting in person, though we also have a way to join online. And we're meeting every 2 weeks. And now what I like to do is to just give you a sense of what kind of activities we do every time or within our group meetings. So those learning activities are based on the members' interests. So the members themselves tell me what they're interested in, and then I find activities or I create activities and also invite guests to help us with those interests. So here are just some examples of activities we've had in the past. I'm a big anime fan, so every semester I manage to sneak in watching an episode of something. So we've watched The Promised Neverland and analyzed it, not just again from a philosophical viewpoint. We've done like club activities on the philosophy of love. We've done various activities on art and aesthetics. We've talked about the ethics of war, ethics and animal agency, determinism and free will. And these are just a few examples of what we've done. The last one, Power of Words, is something that we did at our last club meeting where we analyzed the effects that positive words have or a positive outlook has as opposed to a negative outlook in the negative words that we use. We connected psychology with philosophy, and we watched an episode of XXHolic, one of XXXHolic, which is one of my favorite animes. Again, so those are club activities, but we also do events that we open up to the public. So we've done symposiums, and some examples include the analysis of Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. You can see the list. One of my favorite ones was Sor Juana in the Kitchen, when we tied the teachings of Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, a Mexican philosopher, and we connected it to culinary arts. And then this semester, we did an analysis of the poem Ben Trovato by Edwin Arlington Robinson. And we actually collaborated with the Northwest Campus Library on this one. So it was a collaborative effort. We did this in commemoration, or not commemoration, but in honor of Women's History Month. And Blake, I see him in our list of participants, was essential to making everything happen. So thank you, Blake, and thank you, Lorlee, and everybody at the library for helping us set things up. And then we also do film viewings and discussions. So here are just some films that we watched. One of my favorite ones was Gretel and Hansel, which is kind of like a horror a horror take, or like a to the story of Hansel and Gretel, but it had elements of feminist philosophy. We talked about also the Great Famine in Europe and how, at the time, at least the belief goes that people were selling their own children, because they couldn't eat, and in some cases, eating them. So we brought in the historical aspect to that, and then we addressed the philosophical aspect to it too. And we try to do a film every semester. So then we also do community involvement efforts. These are some that we've done in the past. Most recently this semester, we volunteered and we helped out with the Sun City Dance Classic event that they had. And again, like I said, we're a small group, but we do a lot. This is the list of our current members. I think the only one who's present right now is Genesis. But our president, Fabiana Burciaga, she's been great. We have Selena Maldonado, Shinyere Amaifua, David Cubillos, Genesis Rocha Ramirez, Brendan Lingle. And we're a growing club. Every semester we have new people come in, but I really want to thank the current members. And I also like to thank my co-advisor. His name is, and this is a really bad contrast there, but he's the club advisor. And as I mentioned, I'm the club advisor. So if you want more information, or if you're curious about the things that we do, please send me an email and I can give you that information. And that would be it for my presentation. I wanted club members to talk. I know Genesis only wants to observe, so I won't put her on the spot, and I don't think the other club members made it. But yeah, any questions?
So I have a question. So if they're interested in joining, they can just send you an email or call you, or?
Email's best. So you can send me an email. We have a Microsoft team for the club where we do planning, and we also have links to things that we've done in case somebody didn't make it to the meeting, or whatever the discussion is at the meeting, if some new ideas come from that I could make reference to, then I do that in the MS team. But yeah, if anybody's interested, they can just email me, and then I can just add them to the Microsoft team.
That's great. Seems like a very active club. So if you all are interested, it doesn't matter your major, it doesn't matter your location, which campus you go to, you all are invited to join. So please get in touch with Ms. Escobedo so that way you'll be able to find out more about this club. So if there's any more questions at all? Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you coming to talk about it. We really appreciate it. And so we're going to be talking about another one of our student clubs. We have Ms. Hinojosa here to go ahead and share about the Pulse Radio Club. So whenever you're ready to start, I'll get your PowerPoint up.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we sure can.
Okay. So it's EPCC Pulse Radio. We are a club. Initially, the club was not open to students of all majors, but over the last, I want to say it was like 15 years, they opened it up to all majors, which has been really great because students can join us and then they kind of see where they want to go with this talent and kind of go from here. So who are we? We're a club that is at the Valle Verde campus. We are in need of students who are willing to host a radio show or create their own podcast. So we actually train the students to go on air. There is, believe it or not, a certain way to go on air, certain rules to follow. And so we train you on how to do it. We train you how to use the switchboard. Um, the great thing about it is that students in the past have gone on to do really great things. So we have a couple students that actually did internships at radio stations. A couple of them decided to kind of do their own podcast. And there's one, I was looking for him yesterday. His name is Vincent. He was actually a DJ. Um, and I'll get to, I see that there's a question. So I'll get to that question in a minute. So Vince actually did an internship in Arizona, and now he's a DJ in Arizona. He did like the really great things at the show. We look for students to reach out to local musicians. This is a picture of our club pre-pandemic, and uh, usually we try to get people to come and talk, on air. This is Scott Yoder. He was a musician from Seattle. He was going around the Southwest and doing shows, and he reached out to us. So that's one of the cool things. Like musicians that are not really well known will actually reach out to the radio station. They'll reach out to me or to the students and be like, "Hey, can we come on your show and talk about our music?" And we also ask like other clubs to come and talk about what they're doing, because that's part of the whole idea, is to promote not just EPCC, but the students, the clubs, and their talents, so they can come in, they do their interviews, and that's what the DJs do. The DJs go and seek these people aside from doing their shows. We've had a lot of students tell us that, like a lot of students that are really shy at first, and then they start doing these, and once they're on the air, they blossom. So it's been really great to see. Some examples of some student work. I didn't have them here, but like I said, they interview and go out and do some interviews. The picture you're seeing there, it's not really that great, but the picture you're seeing there, we have some middle schoolers usually when they do like the college tours. We're like the primary stop for, so we try to get the students to come in, see what the older students do, what the college students do, and it gets them excited to want to come to school. You can be from any campus, but to that question, do they have to be live or pre-recorded shows? Either one. They could be pre-recorded, and we load them up onto the system, and they just, they go on a loop, or they can be live. So the same thing goes with music. If it's like your own music that you've composed, so long as it follows FCC rules, then it's all good. We train the students to conduct interviews, so you're not just flying blind with the questions. And the rules of the clubs must be followed, of course, as was previously mentioned. There are certain rules that you all have to follow as students of EPCC. And you also must follow what are known as FCC rules and regulations. You can't just say whatever you want on the air. You can't curse on the air, and we as a club do not discuss politics or religion on the air, just because they're very hot topics right now. And so we don't want people to be offended. We don't want people to get offended. The only time we talk politics is if you have both sides on air and you can interview them equally. But it's been a while since I've seen that. So some techniques that the students learn at the end of their, say they graduate and they've been part of the club for the last 2 years or whatever. They learn how to use their voice, how to control the volume of their voice, how to use eye contact, especially if that's been an issue, because you're going to have somebody right next to you interviewing you, or that you're interviewing. And how to maintain good posture, because you're on the air probably for like half an hour, so you can't be going back on the chair. And while people can't see you, they could still, it'll affect you. and how to control your expressions when you're interviewing somebody. Our current situation, we need students, but we need students who are going to show up to their shows or who are going to deliver pre-recorded material, who are at least willing to come in once a week. We need content and we need DJs. One of the challenges that we face is right now the club has 5 members, but only one is active, and it's mainly because of student schedules and also because of the instructor schedules. I'm hoping that in the fall that my schedule and my co-advisor schedule opens up a little more so that it allows for more students to come in and do their shows, or that if time is an issue and y'all can't come in, at the very least, you can have your shows pre-recorded. So let me give you my contact information here. We're looking for, like I said, different people. That is my email right there in case you're interested. If you could put on the subject line EPCC Pulse Radio Interest for Fall 24, that would be great because, like I said, we're looking for members. So I'll take any questions if there's any right now. And I'll make sure to open the chat too.
Well, thank you so much. I know that you all did get some new equipment there at Valle Verde. So do you have some new podcasting equipment? Is that correct?
That's a different area altogether.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that's C202. C202 is from that equipment is good. It's actually from a grant. But I will say, so if you do a podcast in C202, you can't edit it, and they won't show you how to edit it yet. I know they're looking at training. But if you join our club and you're doing the podcast, because when you do a recorded podcast, it's raw audio. In order for the podcast to sound good with some bumpers and some music and some transitions, you need to edit it. So that's part of, so at the radio station, we'll actually show you the software that'll make it easy to do that.
That's awesome. Okay, so you learned a lot of great skills joining this club. So if you're interested in any of this type of field, or maybe just, something that you like to do, please get in touch with them and see if you can be part of this club. So I think it's a great experience for both of these clubs. So exactly, as she says, no experience is required, and they train you for free. So that's awesome. Where can you get that?
The only, I guess, the only catch is that you do have to be a student taking a class, but you're already paying for that, right? So yeah,
Right.
Technically for free, yeah.
Right? That's right. So if you all are interested, please get in touch with either Ms. Hinojosa for this club or with Ms. Escobedo for the other club. And a lot of people say there's nothing to do at EPCC. There is a lot to do. You just have to get out there and look for it and find it. So if you're interested, please get in touch with them. And thank you so much for presenting on this. I had not any information about this club before, and I think it's a great, great addition to EPCC. So thank you for coming today.
Yes, thank you.
So thank all of you also for coming today. I put in the chat box some Tejano Passport link, so that way you can get your points for attending today. So next week we are going to be having the EPCC Mental Health Committee here to talk on some different mental health topics. And we are coming to a close pretty soon. We only have 2 more student success topics. So we have that one, and then the following week we'll be talking about the children's program at Northwest Library. So I hope you all can join us for that. And if you are interested in the Tejano Passport points, again, the thing is in the chat for you to go ahead and get those points. So if you have any questions on that, please let us know in the chat box. If you have any questions for our presenters, also please put that in the chat or just put your hand up and we'll answer those questions right now. So thank you all for coming, and I hope you all have a great weekend.